Hey, it's your girl Shay.
Yo, it's Jasmine.
Hey y'all, it's Diamond, and welcome back to New Age Mamas. Hey y'all.
Hey, how's it
Hello.
going?
Good. How's everything for y'all? How y'all been? Any updates? What's going on this past week?
It's been a weekend.
Yeah.
Y'all. It's been a weekend, but let me update y'all on my test. What are drums?
Hold on,
Okay.
cause the drums wasn't working last time. We gonna try to make some happen.
Yeah, they were low last time. Or no, they wasn't
I
working after
know.
I did not
If you
pass.
can hear.
I did not pass by 3 questions. I missed it by I
3
needed a
questions.
140 to pass. I got a 137. So I'm taking it again in a month. So I'm not mad because
Period.
my score improved. So for those who don't know,
You're going up, so you're gonna eventually get there.
you feel me? So look, this will be my 5th time taking it, but it's okay. I'm going to pass next time.
Exactly.
So yeah, for those who
And
don't
you
know, I'm taking
look
a home inspector test. So, yep, I'll be getting that done. What's updates with y'all?
before we pass on that. I just want to commend you because you keep going, you keep pushing, you stay with a smile on your face.
Thank
You may get a little
you.
discouraged, but you study again and you keep working and you inspire us all.
Thank
So I
you.
just
I
want to say
appreciate that. Look, I worked too hard not to not to. I spent too
yes,
much money on this so far. So this is gonna get accomplished.
exactly. So we rooting for you.
I
Like,
appreciate it. Look, this is gonna get
yeah,
accomplished. This
of
is
course. I just want to throw some positive words your way.
yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Um,
I agree
other
with
than
you.
that,
I'm with you.
Thank
yeah.
you.
After
Other
that
than
first one, uh,
No, y'all gotta keep it going. Keep it going.
yeah, I was like a little insider. So I took the Chicago police exam.
Mm-hmm.
I took it and I felt it, and I just was like, okay, that's it. But talking to other officers, it was like they had to take it multiple times in order for them to pass too as well. So definitely don't be discouraged. But you definitely got it. But I am planning on taking it again in the future. Just once I'm done with school and stuff.
Okay, go ahead, go for it, Isaiah. Please stop.
yes, I love it. What else? So what else is new other than that? You got your hair did, I see.
Got my hair done, got my hair recolored, and then my son was sick this weekend, so we had to deal with that. Then we had to deal with some daycare incidents. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on that next episode. Y'all gotta tune in for what happened next episode for the daycare incidents. And so yeah, it's just been then I got sick yesterday. It's just been a long weekend. A lot's been happening on me, but keep it coming, keep showing up.
Okay. What you got going on, Shay?
Honestly, nothing special. Just working, trying to keep my head above water. Honestly, anxiety has been kicking my ass, my ass. And so I've been dealing with that. But other than that, I do feel good. Like I'm in a positive place. I'm just like in a place where I'm healthily dealing with my issues. It's like they still bothering me, but I'm processing them better. I had a good therapy session. My therapist, she read me all. Oh, yeah, she did.
What are
And
some of the things that you're doing to help cope with your anxiety? Like, what are like 2 things that you're doing?
um, well, it's right now it's kind of getting to the root of what my anxiety is, I guess. And so it's different ways that I've learned to cope through therapy that just involve like breathing techniques and journaling and stuff like that. But if I'm being honest, like right now we're working through me not being able to journal because I'm just like in this place where I'm like blocked off and I don't really want to deal with things. So journaling kind of gonna make it feel real. And so we're trying to get past that hump. and that's kind of where it's building all the anxiety. But I don't have all the answers. That's why I pay the lady. So yeah. But other than that, my daughter, she is talking up a storm, talking about bye bye, see you later, love you, night night.
Yes, I love to hear that.
I just be like, okay, new word. And she just getting.
They're gonna shock you. They're eventually going. Every time you look up, your child is saying something or doing something differently. You be like, where did you get that from? Where did you learn that from?
Exactly. Yeah. We were cleaning over the weekend, and I was pouring water into the mop bucket, and she was like, "No, I want to do it." So she took the little cup I was using and was pouring the water, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna let you do it." She want to be grown. That's cool. But honestly, I love that she loved being so involved in the household chores. So other than that, that's all I got.
Yes, let her keep doing that too.
Okay, get it while you can, because once they get older, you got to beg them to do chores.
Exactly. That's how we spend time together. She think we've just planned. We're cleaning.
Exactly. We're getting stuff done. That's good. Well, exactly. I'm glad the anxiety is getting better and that therapy is helping you. What's new with you?
What about you, Diamond? Right.
None.
I think you got your hair done too, girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been feeling better. I told y'all it's because last week episode I told y'all when you look good you feel good. So this week I've been on 10, and my therapist was trying to read me too. She was like, "Energy is off. Like something is off about you," and I'm like, "For real?" Because I feel good.
I got my hair done. I'm feeling great.
I got my hair done. I got paid. I ain't got to, worry about this paycheck going towards mostly bills. So it's like I've been feeling good. It's around tax season. Y'all know I'm on 10. So yeah. But I've been pretty good. I've been okay. Nothing major. Like Shay said, like every time I look up, my child is saying something or doing something. I'm like, where did you get that from? Yesterday in bed, I was faking sleeping, and he like, "Wake up, mama! Wake up, mama!" And I was like, "Hold on."
How do you know how to say "wake up"? Like, yes, exactly. It's crazy.
Speaking 3-word sentences
for real.
Yes.
Then he started singing every time. It's like every time it's time for him to go night night, he think he's slick. He wants to say something new, and it impressed me, so I keep having him re-say it.
And you stay up.
Yeah, last week he was singing a nursery rhyme. He was like, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star." And I'm like, "Oh no, it's time to go to bed, but keep going. I want to hear it." And yesterday it was 5 little monkeys. He like 5 little monkeys jumping in the bed. he like, "Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said," I said, "Oh baby," like, oh no.
He like, "I know the song. I know the song.
He said, I know all that."
And I feel like he knows that because throughout the day though, he won't necessarily sing those nursery rhymes. But when it's time to go to bed, it's like, let me get something from my mama to get up. Like, let me wake her up or say something so that I can get her up. And he just be cracking up because I be like, "Hold on, say it again. Yeah, he's starting to be so talkative.
That's good. That's exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
That is exciting. Well, ladies, y'all ready to get into this episode?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, today we'll be talking about Diamond and dealing with epilepsy and her journey through with that. I'm not sure if everybody knows what epilepsy is, but Diamond, can you tell us a little bit about what epilepsy is, and when you were diagnosed, and tell us a little bit details about that.
Sure. So epilepsy basically is a seizure disorder. And I was diagnosed with it at the age of 5. And now I'm 24, about to be 25. So yeah, I had it for quite some time. Yeah, I remember literally, I still remember my first episode from having, a seizure, what they normally call it. The doctors would say episodes. So yeah, I remember my first episodes at the age of 5, and I remember every episode I had since then. Like, they're very memorable to some people in some cases, and in my case, I'm able to, remember every episode and every seizure that I had.
Man.
Wow. So did you have a seizure and then that's when you were diagnosed? Like, when you were 5, is that like how you were diagnosed after you had your seizure?
Yeah, so that's how it happened. Because, of course, like, well, sometimes, you can be born with something and diagnosed right then and there once you're born. Other times it's, when something occurred or when something actually happened. And that's when you can find out that you're diagnosed with something or that you have something. So, I was diagnosed at the age of 5 once I had the episode. I was getting ready for school and, I was putting my clothes on and stuff and I was fully dressed. And I was just sitting on the toilet with my clothes on, like wasn't using the restroom or nothing, just sitting in the bathroom, brushing my teeth and stuff. And my mom like, why are you sitting down, brushing your teeth? Like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I just wasn't feeling good. I couldn't express it or couldn't say anything about it, but I didn't know what it was at the time. It wasn't feeling well. And next thing I know, I fell to the ground on the floor and was having a seizure, was having an episode. So, yeah, then that's when I got rushed to the hospital and stuff like that. And they told my mom from there she had a seizure. Of course, they didn't know right then and there. I had to do different tests. I had different MRIs. I had different CAT scans. It was times where I had to spend the night in the hospitals with machines tied up to me overnight so that they can watch me and see. They tried to do different tests to see what causes the seizure. So it was a long process. Still to this day, it's still a long process with having seizures and with having epilepsy.
So do you feel like you manage it better now? Do you feel like you can know possibly when a seizure is coming on?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I can manage it better now because I can feel when they're coming on. Around 5 and when I was younger, I wasn't able to necessarily control it per se. Still to this day, I can't control it, so I don't even want to say control.
Right.
I can't necessarily control it, but I can manage it better. Like I know when it's about to come on. I know when it's about to occur. I know what to do and prepare for when it's about to occur. So, yeah. And then with my family, of course, being around me, they know what to do. They know how to prepare for it. And my boyfriend and everyone around me typically knows how to prepare for it.
So obviously this is something that's big for you being a mom. Like, how do you feel like it affects you in your parenting? Like, do you ever feel scared that you're going to have a seizure with your son around? Do you feel like you have to prepare him maybe in the future? And if he has to be the one that helps you if no one is around?
Yeah, so that's the scary part about it. It's like when he gets older, of course, I'm going to have to explain this to him. And, he probably potentially is going to have to, help me in some case or help me in the event, unless it is fully under control by that point, by the time he's older. At first, at one point, it kind of was control. Like, of course, a lot of listeners probably like, well, it's medicine for it in certain cases. And in my case, I was I was diagnosed, with it, and they put me on the medicine called Keppra. So I was on Keppra, and I was on Keppra at the beginning of my pregnancy. Is when I was on Keppra before my pregnancy. Let me backtrack. I was on Keppra before my pregnancy, and it just wasn't right. A lot of medicine and stuff come with different side effects, and I couldn't handle the side effects. Sometimes the side effects outweighs actually having a seizure. My seizure episodes last between 20 to 30 seconds at the most. So it's like I can be in that pain and stuff between those 20 and 30 seconds versus being in mental and physical pain.
So I probably missed it, but did you already discuss like how do you feel when you're having a seizure? Because you just mentioned you're in pain, so I didn't know seizures were painful.
Yeah, so I didn't. That's a great question, but I didn't discuss that yet. So it's painful in some instances, in some cases. I had mentioned before, like having your parents or whoever around you prepared to have a seizure. So I'll just break down on what typically occurs in my case. So in my case, I can be feeling sick, be feeling weak, or, not feeling right. It's like I can't explain the feeling within inside the body, but I can feel, versus that sick versus, another type of cold or flu. Like it's totally different. So, it's like a feeling comes on in my body. And I started seeing stars. Like my vision gets very blurry. I start seeing stars and I start to get very dizzy. Like it's like really everything is spinning. Everything goes into circular motion. I can't see. I can't hear. It's like I can't smell, can't breathe, like can't nothing. It's like I'm gone at that point. And what typically happens is once that happens and that feeling comes, sometimes I can get the words out in time. Sometimes I can't. It's been cases where I'm about to have a seizure, like say it. And by the time I'm about to say it, I then already passed out or then already hit the ground. Typically, I'll say, or if I can warn my parents or whoever around me in enough time, I'll say I'm about to have an episode or I'm about to have a seizure. Or I'll say it's about to happen. When I say it's about to happen, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And they'll try to take cover or like grab something. So when someone's about to have a seizure, you normally want to make sure they're either laying down or that they have something to cover them before they fall on what they're going to fall on, because it can happen outside on the ground. It can happen inside the home, on carpet, on hardwood floor. And you want to make sure you always protect their head. The first thing you do the first thing they do when you go to the hospital and you tell them, hey, I just had a seizure, normally the first thing they ask, did you hit your head? Because they want to make sure there's no brain damage or no head damage when you're falling to the ground, because a lot of times you fall to the ground. So what I do is when I know I'm about to have one, I'll typically sit down on the floor, or I typically lay down if I have enough time. If I don't have enough time, try to grab the nearest thing near me, or if I know, because I can feel when I'm about to fall, I'll lay my arm out and try to put my head on my parents. If they right there, they'll hold their hand out and let me fall on them or lay on them, because at that point it's nothing you can do or nothing you can give that person to stop it. Like it's going. So it's nothing you can't try to hurry up and get them their medicine or hurry up and give them something. Like you just have to let it happen for those 30 to 40 seconds. And when it's happening, I don't necessarily feel anything in my body from what I know, because at that point, when it's happening, I can't hear, I can't see, can't smell nothing. But my parents, they'll describe it to the doctor like, well, she was shaking uncontrollably, her eyes would roll to the back of her head, and basically that was it. So I'll eventually come back, and when I come back, basically, when I come back, I'll like look around. I'll be in the daze. Sometimes I don't know where I'm at. I don't know who I'm around. It takes a minute for me to fully process and come back. And when I come back, I'll go lay down in the bed, or they'll give me a towel to put over my head. Now, people have different things that causes seizures and causes episodes. In my case, what caused me to have a seizure is flashing lights, and if I'm very tired, exhausted, hungry, hot, like any of those things, I can just, So it's like the people that actually know me, like my parents, I can't go around them and be like, dang, I'm hungry, because they'll instantly, feel like, oh my gosh, she probably finna get sick, or oh, I'm so hot, I'm burning up. Like literally this past weekend, I was telling my mom, like, I am hot, like I am really hot, and she like, no, like, are you okay? Type stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just hot, like it ain't that, like I can let you know when that's about to come on. But it's been plenty of times, like before seizures, my body gets really hot, and I started taking off all my clothes. I don't care where I'm at. This stuff got to come off because I know it's about to happen. Like, and sometimes I can't control it.
So you said your triggers are the flashing lights, being hot, hungry, and tired. And then I also was like looking at some other like triggers for some people, and like they did say like the sleep deprivation, being overtired is a very common one. illness, like flashing lights? Because I feel like that's what we always hear is like the flashing lights. So when you're ever like when you were in school and you would go to parties, those type of lights, they would like you couldn't go to those parties basically.
I would go, but they would bother me. Like once I grew close with a certain friend group, I started, telling them about my disorder and me having seizures. And I would warn them like, hey, these lights are bothering me. And they'll say, let's step outside for a moment, or let's go to the bathroom, or are you okay? Do you need to leave? Like the flashing lights, that colorful flashing lights, that would bother me bad. Police lights, sirens lights would bother me bad. I cannot just behind an ambulance. I can't drive behind police cars. It was a time I got pulled over one time for speeding, and I had to tell the officer, like, could you turn your lights off? Because they leave their lights on. I'm like, could you turn your lights off? I have a seizure disorder that would trigger it. Like, I can't deal with flashing lights, anything like, even the lights that people have on the cell phone. Some people
that
put
flashing thing,
like put it in your face and stuff. I'm like, I'll be telling them, because like, turn that off. And then it was at one point where it was like a ringtone, like the lights would flash as people calling your phone, and my aunt had that, and I'm always around my aunt. I had to tell her, like, you have to turn that off, like that bothers me bad. And she understood. She like, okay, like, and she turned it off her phone completely. Because even like directly not looking at it, like,
it's still there.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay, wow. So, we know your triggers, and then I remember one time when you were overtired, and you said like you just felt it coming on, and like you were overwhelmed. So, like, what do you do to make sure that you don't get overwhelmed or overly tired? Like, what do you make sure that you do the things that you can control? Like, what do you do to make sure that you control these? Like, okay, if I'm hungry, do you eat at certain times? Like, what are your controllables that you do? Because I know the flashing lights, that's not controllable.
Right. So what I typically do is try to prevent those things or do those things like in that moment. Like you said, if I'm hungry, okay, let me try to eat in that moment. If I'm hot, let me try to undress myself to put on something or go in front of a fan or something. If I'm tired, I'm tired, I need a nap. And whoever I'm around, hopefully they understand. Normally they do. Yeah, so I'll normally warn people, like, if my friends, hey, let's go to this club. Okay, this club about to have, flashing lights. Like, is this about to have this? Because it could affect me. And seeing someone have a seizure is scary for a lot of people. I've been having them since I was 5, and it's still scary for my parents, even though they didn't witness almost all of them. It's scary for a lot of people. So I haven't like necessarily prepared myself for when it comes a time, or if it comes a time, because God can, I believe in God and He can work miracles, and I won't ever have a seizure again, and hopefully that happens. But hopefully I haven't like fully prepared myself for when it comes to telling Jace or telling my son about it. And yeah, hopefully I'll be okay at this point. It has been certain times where me and him is just out, and I feel like I'm about to have one. Like, that is the most scariest feeling ever, because I'm in a shopping mall or I'm somewhere and I don't like know what to do per se. Like in that, it was one time me and him was in the shopping mall at a store. Well, we was in like Burlington or Ross or something like that, and I felt like it was going to come on. I instantly had to hurry up, pick him up from the cart, and run to the car. Like, at that point, I think this was the time where I was extremely hot. So I'm like, okay, I'm extremely hot. Like, let me pick him up and go outside.
Right.
Type. So I had to do that in that instant, because it's scary around strangers. I didn't have an episode when I was around strangers before. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so.
And so with that being said, I know you mentioned earlier when people, if we see somebody, like what to do when a family member or friend has a seizure. But okay, so say if we're out, you said we should make sure that somebody's laying down or not hitting the floor. Like, is there anything else that people should make sure that's being done when somebody is having a seizure, or not to do?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend if you witness or seeing someone have a seizure, or if you're there before a person is about to have a seizure, like to prepare for the before is just, okay, let me grab something soft really quick before they fall. When that person falls, the weight is dead. So make sure someone is there that could, help them, because that person can fall back too if someone is falling back on them. Making sure that the person, when he or she falls, is laying comfortably, like, and as they're laying there, some people's seizures happen. Mine normally typically happens only about 30 seconds. Some people's last longer.
Wow.
So you have to basically sit there and actually let it happen. Once they come to, don't panic, don't ask a lot of questions, because we're still in a daze. We're coming through, and everybody, are you okay? Everybody in face. You do you know what? Like, literally, when because for example, I had one at an airport one time. So a lot of people there. Literally, everyone is in my face. Do you know, like, what's this? What's today's date? Where do you know where you were at? Who's the president? And it's like, give me a second, because I'm coming back. Like, give me a second, because I can't tell you who the president is right now. You might think I'm a little off, but I don't. It's been plenty of times. That's normally what I think. EMTs, I'm not saying that's their trained question, but that's their most frequently asked question. Who is the president? I mean, hold on. I don't know.
What's your name?
You like, ask me another question. You like, how many states is in the United States? Ask me something I would know.
Just give me a second. But a lot of people, too, the problem lies to a lot of people can tend to bite their tongue, and that could be an issue too when they're about to fall or have a seizure. So it's like nothing you can necessarily do to, like, I ain't saying open their mouth and stuff to like stop them from biting their tongue, but that could potentially happen too. It hasn't happened to me.
Thank God.
Thank God, like, bit my tongue, or necessarily I haven't. Thank God too, I haven't experienced a seizure and hit my head hard. Because I typically know, when it's about to come, so I can prepare myself or prepare others around me. Also, I would just too. Sometimes, in my case, speaking in my case, I like when I have a cold towel once I wake up, like put on my forehead or put on my body, because typically I'm normally hot in the instance, so a cold towel would definitely help me.
That's good.
Others.
Okay, because I was when I was doing some research about it, I did see like myths about, seizures, and they said that you can't swallow your tongue during a seizure. It's physically impossible, because everybody thinks like you can swallow your tongue. And then they said like you should never force something into somebody's mouth while having a seizure. And then they was like, do not restrain anyone while having a seizure. And they said like to call 911 if the seizure lasts longer than 5 minutes. And from you saying that you're in pain in that 20 and 30 seconds, for somebody like for it to last minutes, that sounds horrible. Like that sounds very horrible. So you're so strong, Diamond. So like, did this affect you while you were pregnant in any way?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Really?
Definitely. At the beginning, because like you said before, like I'm having seizures on top of being pregnant. So having different hormones, having morning sickness and having sickness. I was having sickness at the beginning of my pregnancy, like vomiting and stuff like that. Like, it's bad. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, a lot of times after seizures, when a person come up, they can tend to vomit everywhere. That happened in my case a couple of times, and people instantly, you pregnant, you just passed out and you doing no.
Baby, I just had a seizure.
Right, I just had a seizure. Like, let me educate you real quick.
Let me learn you something.
Right. But yeah, it has happened a couple of times, like me vomiting once I came back and stuff. But of course,
it's so casually. you know?
Yeah, because I was talking about it before, like a couple of times. Like, I'm always, once I get close with friends or people, I'll, share just so they can know and to prepare them. Like, so yeah,
You
I don't
are
know.
strong though, because it sounds so scary. Like,
Yeah.
I've witnessed someone having a seizure before, and it scared me. So I can only imagine how you feel being the person going through it. And then like having, like you said, like you have all these strangers in your face. I was one of those strangers, like, are you okay? Or do you, like, if I was a waitress, I'm taking the girl order, and next thing you know, she's having a seizure. So she fall into me. So like it can be scary, and it's good that we're talking about this because you don't really know what to do when somebody having a seizure. And it's good to know the myths. I don't know why somebody would try to stick something in somebody's mouth, but I would hope if you ever thought to do that, not to do that.
People weird. You don't know what they be thinking.
Yeah.
When I had one in the airport, it was a doctor in the line, surprisingly. We were going through airport security and stuff, and when I passed out, the doctor had came in. He was hollering. When I came back, I heard him hollering, do anyone have some candy? Do anybody, got something, because she needs something in her mouth? Like, but this was after I didn't, woke up at that point. He was saying, but I never personally, like, I was probably on my fifth or sixth seizure at that point. I never personally heard, for me to chew something or put something in my mouth after the fact. But him being a doctor, he was saying, like, yeah, you have to, get some candy or get something in your mouth afterwards.
When you started doing that, did you see a difference with things or feel a difference?
No, I did.
You like, nah, girl, nah. Well,
what if he wasn't a doctor?
Huh?
What if he wasn't a doctor?
Right. I don't know,
but I feel like, we be watching a lot of shows. People be like, I'm a doctor. I can help.
He probably wanted to play hero at that moment.
I'm a nurse. I can help.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing this. I feel like I learned so much. And then the fact that it's like you're still dealing with this every day. And this does, like, do you think this affects like motherhood, or would you say like sometimes it may affect how you feel with mothering or anything?
I don't think it like makes me feel different about motherhood, because I think it helped me grow in motherhood, if they make sense. Because before then, it's like I was using, like, when my body was having episodes or having seizures, it would just happen. But it's been times where I feel it coming and I have the urge to necessarily fight, if that makes sense. Like, I'm literally fighting my body to stop it or trying to control it from having a seizure. Because at that point I'm with my son, or I'm around my son, and I don't want him to witness it, or it's just us two at this point. Versus before having my son, if I feel a seizure coming, no need to fight it. I need to let it happen. It's going to happen, let it happen. But now it's like I've been trying to train my body and focus my body more on, letting it not happen. The medicine I was on Keppra, and I could just, on my saying literally, I didn't took different MRIs, I didn't take different tests, then seeing different neurologists. The doctors are calling me a guinea pig, literally. They're like, we don't know what medicine to give you to control it. We don't know what medicine to put you on, because the medicine that they're putting me on, I've been complaining about. Keppra was just not. I was on Keppra, and it just wasn't a good fit for me. When my pregnancy was happening, it was okay at the beginning. Having Keppra, that was fine, but afterwards, one of Kepra's side effects is drowsiness, sleepiness,
be like that all day,
depression, suicidal thoughts. Before they put you on Keppra, they ask you a bunch of questions. have you ever thought about committing suicide? Have you ever thought about, harming yourself, harming others? Like, yeah. And it's like, once I was on Keppra, all those thoughts started coming.
Wow.
I started to have suicidal thoughts. And it was like, okay, is this postpartum versus is this medicine? So it was hard to tell, which one was which and, which one is leading me to it. And I finally realized, I'm like, it's this Keppra. I get off Keppra and I'm like, okay, I feel better mentally. It's like I have to, in order to feel better physically, you have to feel better mentally first. Like, your mind controls everything. Let your mind feel better, and then you can work on your physical aspects and your physical part of your body. But it's like my mind was taken over at one point. Like, I started having suicidal thoughts, and I'm like, why? What is wrong with me? I'm okay. My life is okay. What is going on? And it's like explaining that to the doctors. You have to, I'm not saying, lie to your doctor or lie to, whoever you see. But sometimes you have to be careful on what you say to people. Because you tell them, oh, I'm having suicidal thoughts. All right, we putting you in a mental institution, or we putting you somewhere where you have to stay for a week and we have to monitor you and stuff. I don't need to miss time with my son. I don't need to miss, the outside world. Having me isn't going to make me feel better because you're trying to run tests to see where I'm at mentally. I told you where I'm at mentally, and that's where I'm at. So this is why I'm stopping this medicine. Like, it was just, sometimes you have to be blunt, but sometimes you also have to watch what you say. Using certain words and saying, oh, I thought about killing myself. Yeah, that's not healthy. But saying, hey, this medicine isn't for me, the side effects are affecting me, which, is different than versus saying, all right, me wanting to kill myself or me thinking about harming myself. Like, once I said, hey, this medicine isn't for me, it isn't working, either find something else or, just let it be. Just let me, not have any medicine at all.
And so the medicines are to prevent the seizures?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it sucks that the medicines have so many, like, just horrible side effects, like the fact that you were able to pinpoint, thank God that you were aware, like, okay, this medicine is the only thing that's changed, and now I'm having these thoughts. Some people may not be aware enough to recognize the difference. And then I feel like it adds a layer of caution on your parenting as well. Because, like, let's say you're taking that medicine and you drowsy, you can't drive at certain times because that can affect your driving. And then, just like you said, like, you were at the mall, you had to, kind of snap at a second, like, think, what's the best case scenario here? What is going to protect me and my child in this situation? And so I feel like that is something that, mothers who do deal with the seizure disorder or epilepsy has to deal with, like, and that is that's like not kind of scary. It is very scary.
And like you mentioned, driving, like, that is a key point too. Like, technically, I wasn't supposed to never get my license. Like, when you have seizures, you're not supposed to drive. You're not supposed to have a license. Wow. Drive at all. Yeah, they'll tell you that at the DMV. They'll ask you, do you have seizures? That is
you like this? No.
Look, hold up. Diamond be lying to everybody. The people at the DMV, the people at the doctor.
She's like, y'all ain't about to get me.
Right.
Y'all ain't about to get me.
I didn't tell them the full truth. Well, not telling the full truth is a lie. But I just was steering them in a different direction. Like, all right, this medicine.
Right. You didn't eat the blue socks with the grippies on them.
I definitely didn't.
You did.
I definitely did.
Well, thanks for sharing, Diamond. We really appreciate this.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening.
Yes, of course. We had to highlight.
We get to learn more about you. We get to learn more about something that's very important, that we may come in contact with people we deal with in the future. Like I said, I dealt with somebody who had a seizure before, and that was a scary experience for me. So just, this conversation, this podcast, this episode can help somebody in the future be like, all right, now I'm aware of what to do if I'm ever in a situation where I see somebody having a seizure.
Which is make sure they fall in a safe place and don't do nothing.
Yeah.
That's it. And call 911 if it lasts more than 5 minutes.
call 911. So do
Okay, yeah, look,
something.
call 911.
And if you see Diamond, you would like a cold towel, preferably. You feel me?
Yes,
Cold towel.
yes.
Lay it across my forehead.
Exactly. Help my girl
You're
out.
right. Well, go ahead, Diamond. Take us out.
Okay, y'all. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Okay, so y'all, we got these diapers, so we looking to do a diaper raffle very soon. Make sure you guys following us on all social media platforms so that you can get more information about that. Also, we want to start doing Q&As, so don't feel free to inbox us, message us if you know us personally, text us different questions that we can have on our podcast, and we can have where you guys can engage with us through social media. So, also we have a mom shout out. So basically, in order to submit a mom shout out, just DM us or message us or text us on one of our social media platforms and shout out a mom. Like, we love to hear how, others appreciate us being a mom and, appreciate our job and what we do as moms. So shout us out, shout other moms out, whoever you want to shout out. Mother's Day coming up. I know it's a few months from now, but feel free to shout us out. So thank you guys again for tuning in and listening to another episode. Please, please, please subscribe to our podcast. We really appreciate everyone for listening. We hope that you all take the time out, leave us a review on any social media platform. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're all on social media. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. That's a wrap.